I got to lean in.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another recap for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm here with Chad or Chadwick or whatever you want to call him. He's here. We're here to talk about, as I said, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We haven't been here in 2 weeks. That's partially my fault, but I don't feel bad for it. I was seeing family. I actually saw Chad, who is also family sometimes. I saw Antonio as well, but I was in Atlanta for a week and a half, so whereas I could have filmed, just I chose to spend that time while I was there. So that's why we're here 2 weeks later, and we are going to be discussing episodes 2, 3, and 4. Now, obviously, we can't talk about everything in the previous episodes. That's why I hate to double up, and that means I would definitely hate to triple up. But we're going to make sure we cover, the focal points in tonight's review. We started a little earlier for that reason too, just in case, so we can make sure we can, have our show and also get some callers on if we have some callers. But make sure you guys hit that like button. As of right now, the lean is doing Salt Lake City and doing Salt Lake City and Potomac, but we're currently trying to figure out how to do Salt Lake City going forward. Just because it's kind of that season where everybody's schedule is very busy. So we are in the talks, maybe doing a bi-weekly or something like that. But basically, we want to continue to get the content. We're going to continue to watch it and recap it, but just subscribe to the channel and just stay tuned to know how we're going to go about doing it, because we're trying to just make sure that we can put out the content, but also with our availability matching. So you'll still see myself, Jamie, Chad, Antonio, and Shantae throughout the season, but in how frequent, that'll be determined soon. As of right now, Potomac is still Monday, so you can always find us there for that. All right, so let's start with episode 2. So the premiere was pretty good. We actually reviewed it a few weeks ago here, and this was the Bezos party. So in episode 2, it's basically just a little bit of the aftermath. A couple things that happened. We met Bronwyn, who was a new housewife. We met Brittany, who was a friend of Heather, and we also met Melly. We know that Lisa, and the main storyline this season, it seems to be Lisa and Whitney. And the last thing we saw in that episode was Whitney saying, "You want to see my growth and my journey?" Then, she gave her a bit of
Lisa Barlow.
right, F you, Lisa Barlow. And that's how they ended. We know that Angie was okay with Lisa, but things kind of started to turn right here because basically Angie had given some information to Lisa or Heather, somebody, of a conversation that she had about them. And Lisa, if you know Lisa, she prides herself on loyalty, but we're going to talk about how she sometimes may not be that loyal either. Still love her. I will say Lisa is in her full-fledged villain season. Mm-hmm. And the thing I like about this season is that I feel like we've had friends of, but the friends of have been like, I don't know, they're really involved this season. It kind of reminds me of how like Atlanta would have friends of and other shows, because they're really involved. And I think it's really adding a new dynamic to Salt Lake City specifically. So episode 2, we see a couple of scenes I'm going to kind of go through, and we'll get to the main point of episode 2. We see that Mary's son is staying with her, so she's mentioning that. We see a conversation with Bronwyn, Lisa, and Heather. They're going to Wendy's, and they just kind of talk about what happened last night. Bronwyn is very vocal about how Whitney had her whole "F you, Lisa Barlow" and "see my growth," all those things, but they're all pretty, whatever. So that's all we see. And what I will say that in this season of Salt Lake City, they will bring up something, and unlike other seasons or the shows, they will actually show us what we did not see. And I kind of like that. I don't feel like they do that often for other shows, but like literally, we're not missing out on anything. I mean, at least we don't know. At least when they bring it up, we know. And I think that helps too, because it gives you a glimpse and it saves more airtime for other parts. So Lisa and Angie have a conversation, and Angie basically says that she didn't like that there was a gang up. She didn't like the fact that she felt like they was ganging up on Whitney, because we know that when the conversation ended, Angie left with Whitney. But she doesn't really take any accountability on saying what she said to Whitney about what Lisa told her. And Angie's whole thing is, I think this is what she's starting to tell Lisa, that yeah, she can be a little bit intimidating. kind of like mean girlish without saying those words. She's trying to let her know, like, it's kind of hard being your friend because I feel like, I have to do what you say and I have to do this. And that's kind of what Angie is on the whole thing. But if you notice, there's a pattern because this was the same thing that Angie was running into when she was friends with Jen Shaw. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think honestly, I think it needs to be a point to where Angie looks at herself and realizes that she may be the problem because that's what she seems to cling to. That's just me. I ain't no therapist, but that's just what I see. Um, Now Lisa basically says she's not changing and she will be the villain, and she leaves. Any thoughts on that little scene?
I mean, I thought it was typical Lisa Barlow behavior. I didn't expect Lisa to give her nothing else other than what she gave her. So I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of happy with Lisa just sticking to her guns, like, girl, this is me. And Angie always says, we've been knowing each other 15 years. Just like, girl, you should already know what Lisa give. I
Yeah,
think that now that it's on camera, she's not liking the way it's translating and she's seeing it. But it's like, girl, clearly Lisa has always been this way. So
she's
what is
always
the
been this
issue?
way,
Like, I
especially
mean,
with people like Angie. Like when she was friends with Meredith, not so much, but people that kind of, are a little bit more neat and more
yeah,
that she assumes that role. It to me is very Nene to Cynthia. That's
yes,
that's how I look at it. Like, and not saying Angie's like weak, but I mean when she's next to Lisa, it can appear to be that way. She's a little
yeah,
bit soft spoken. She's soft spoken in general, but she may have to find her voice in a lot of moments because
yeah.
Lisa won't let her get it out.
At all. It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna
So
happen
it's
at
like, get with the program, girl.
Right. So then after that, we see Heather and Whitney, they chat. Heather kind of apologizes for getting in on the pile on that happened. And but she wants Whitney to take some accountability in saying and knowing that you did do these things to us, so can you own that? And Whitney, she does say that, that she has done certain things, but everybody has. I'm like, okay, well, Whitney, we said ourselves she deserved that discipline, like she did. I mean, Whitney
Yes.
says it's been 5 seasons. She's been doing a lot of mess. So listen, the girls want to call it out. Hey, don't just try to say you've grown now. Like you still can take some accountability and say, yes, I did that. I did
Right.
that. So she's planning a trip to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and she just basically says that Bronwyn is cool and very honest. And Heather's like, "Oh snap, that ain't what Bronwyn was saying in the car." So just keep that thought right there. So then they go to this little activity thing, and what I love also about this season is that Mary is active. If
Yes.
she was doing that little tightrope thing, like first of all, I'll be scared. I'm scared of heights, but they were all doing it, and it kind of took me out when Angie was like, "Don't y'all hate it?" And then Mary was like, "Lisa, please stop. Like we all hate it. Like stop." But she's like, Mary is like, I mean, maybe she
She's
walked around.
participating.
Last year we talked about this, and this year it's like it's a whole new Mary. Well,
Yes.
not a whole new Mary, just a newer side of Mary. Um, so they do the activities, they have lunch, and Lisa's loving Mary. Brittany, who is Heather's friend, makes an announcement, and she basically says that she's officially in a relationship. And then they bring up this post of Jared saying that him and his best friend at Costco, and Lisa and everybody's just like, yeah, girl, no, that's not official. Like y'all not together. Like he's basically calling you his best friend. Like please drop it. And so out of nowhere, Mary says, I'm trying to figure out why do we care? And
That's
Brittany
why you
was
said not a totally
like,
different Mary.
right. As I said, not a totally different Mary. She still, can be a little blunt and rude. Brittany's just like that she's rude. And Mary brings up the fact that she was rude the other day about calling her poor. And Brittany says she never said she was poor. She tries to relate, blah, blah, blah. But Lisa kind of takes the conversation and brings up Jared again. And she basically says she feels like he's playing her. Brittany gets emotional and talks about the issues that she's having with her family and things like that. That her kids won't talk to her. And but she doesn't really want to discuss it. And I'm like, well, and Mary's like, well, you felt so comfortable discussing your relationship. Why bring this up? Like, why not talk about this? It's actually something that you want to share, you would think. And so she gets into it with her, tells her she needs soul searching. Bronwyn gets involved. And I ain't gonna lie, I kind of felt bad for Brittany again in this moment because it's like, I don't know, like the energy Mary was giving, I like Mary, but it just felt so like, I don't know, like I get why she maybe didn't care for it, but she was just kind of going in. And I feel like Brittany is just a sad woman. I'll just say that. She's somebody that I'll be like, let me just leave her alone because I would never want to drive her off the edge. Like she's
I
not
get
very
that.
secure in herself. She's not very comfortable. Like she just lacks a lot of things. I feel like as what's her name said on Potomac, you're not mentally strong to be in this group. I don't think she's mentally strong to be in the group. That's
I
me.
agree. I
That's
agree.
just but she makes that comment, and Mary makes a dig at her about you're kind, but you can't make amends with your kids. She explains how how she was triggered by it when she was growing up, and not having that relationship and things like that left at home. And I'm like, well, Mary, were you poor? Because you making it seem like you was poor. I don't know. I'm not saying she was, but when she was explaining her story, she was saying like sometimes they weren't fed. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'm trying to understand like what is Brittany right about relating with you? I mean, I don't know. That's just me. But to close out this part, they kind of go back and forth, and it just ends with both of them saying, "You shut up, you shut up." So, any thoughts on the exchange between Brittany and Mary, and anything Brittany gave? Just anything. Like, how do you feel about this part? This thing?
I was on Mary's side. I felt like it was a little, like kind of meanish in a sense, but I mean that's Mary Cosby. But I also felt like it hit her because, like she said, her mother was always like chasing after a man, chasing after a man. And I do think that that is so annoying, even with people that I know in real life. It's like everything you do is revolving around a man to where you can't do nothing else, you can't function, you can't do nothing. And it was like, girl, you a grown woman, like what are you doing? You have kids that you don't even talk to, or they not talking to you because you always behind a man. You need to do some soul searching, get that together, get it on track with your kids. And I was with Mary, like your priorities are wrong. Your priorities are
No,
all the way wrong.
when you put it into that perspective, yes. Now, I didn't think about it that way. The fact that basically like you're running behind this man, but you could be trying to that makes sense. That I didn't think so. That yes, in that case, I do agree with Mary, but I just felt like I don't know. At some point, when you just keep poking people, you just don't know where you're gonna send them. And like I said, she don't give me like I would just leave her alone. She is not a strong
Well,
woman.
you see, Bronwyn told her that everything she knows, everything that they know about her so far has been unhinged, and I think that that was such a good way to put it because it's just like every time she's on camera, it is an unhinged moment. Like it's just no stability at all. It's like, girl, what do you, I mean, I think she's good for TV, but what I don't want to happen is like the producers kind of exploit her, kind of like what happened with Kim Richards.
And that's what I'm saying. But you know what I'm getting? I'm not even getting. I'm getting. What's her name? Tammy. You remember season 8 of Potomac? I mean, so sorry, season 8 of
Oh,
Atlanta.
the one with the
That's what I'm
nephew.
getting. I'm getting like she's like the butt of jokes. She's like that's what I'm getting.
Yeah,
And I
I
don't
can
like
get
it.
that. Yeah,
Um,
that's not really cool.
yeah,
But
that's what I
at the
don't like
same
about it.
time, I
But
mean, we
she's
five
offering it
seasons
too, though.
in.
She's offering.
Exactly. So it's
So
like
it's
you kind of giving them that ammo.
yeah. Well, you're right.
And she don't mind going back and forth either. She will go back and forth with you too. Like
She
it's
don't
kind
be
of
making.
like
She'll be making no sense though. She just be. She has a rebuttal, but it's just like you should just stay quiet. That's what I get. To close out this episode 2, um, basically Heather jumps in and says, "Show her some respect." She tries to because that is her friend ultimately, and we know Heather ain't finna defend nobody too much. So I was like, okay. And like you said, Bronwyn says that Brittany is cringe, unhinged, chaotic, all these things. And basically, she needs to get her words right. And Heather says, "Well, speaking of getting your words right, you need to get your words right because you was talking all this mess. And what I heard that you was so nice and to Whitney, but you was talking so much stuff in the car." So it becomes a moment to where even I was a little bit confused because I was like, okay, what did she say in that car? I know she mocked Whitney and she said like that she practices this at home, and we start to see the flashbacks, and honestly, it kind of aligns with what she said. She told Whitney that
hmm
it was funny. She mocked her in her face or the same accent, whatever she did. I mean, the voice. So was she really doing? Did she really say anything different? No, not really. And
and Heather gagged.
but if you notice, production was giving us bits and pieces of the flashback because the
Yeah, because we
flashback
didn't get
would
it
have
all.
conversation, and then the next time they would talk about it, it would have what she said. Then
Uh-huh.
every episode they gave us more and more, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about the actual full scene next episode. Obviously, I mean episode 3 we get to because that's when it showed everything. But in this moment, Bronwyn was vindicated. She didn't really say anything, but she doesn't feel supported by Lisa. Lisa just kind of comes in. Comes in and she doesn't say like, "Oh, it was Shay." She's just like, "Well, she doesn't really defend Bronwyn in the way that she wants," which is crazy because if it was Lisa, Lisa would have a heart attack. Um,
Yes.
she would go off, especially in that moment. And I think what Bronwyn, I don't think she denied anything because she didn't do anything wrong. I think she just wanted the others to say that they all were taking part of something that was shady or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And honestly, Heather looked the fool because I know what Heather was trying to do, but
Mm-hmm.
realistically, there was nothing that was
Yeah,
done
she
that she
gagged.
would say, and she was gagged, and I feel like Heather had no more straws to pull. Um, and yeah, so from that moment, they talk about like Whitney talks about the using the weapon as trauma and the steamrolling and things like that. And Lisa brings up the podcast because it becomes another conversation between a thing. Think of Lisa versus Whitney again. Every conversation becomes Lisa versus Whitney. So we know who's gonna be first chair. We clearly see who's it gonna be.
Yes.
We see it. And that's pretty much all that happened in that scene. Whitney announces the trip to Milwaukee. She says there's a bathtub. Meredith says, "Well, honey, baby, I may not even be there, so I don't care about the bathtub." And Whitney was just like in a confessional, "Well, good. I hope you don't."
Right.
So, any final thoughts on that last scene before we move to episode 3?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. And did you catch at the end of the episode? It said Lisa Barlow had a paid partnership with Wendy's. Did you see that?
I saw that. I was like, because I actually rewinded it when I saw it. I was like, did I just read that right? And I thought that was
Uh-huh.
very interesting that they put that there. Have they ever done that before?
It was so small, I'm blind. I just happened to all I saw was Lisa Barlow, and I was like, pause, and then I screenshot. I was like, oh, okay, because I
Yeah.
didn't see it. I'm so blind. What's going on, Antonio? Antonio was in London. Antonio, is your birthday? It's this week, right? It's like tomorrow.
It's this week. Is it the 11th?
Maybe tomorrow. Well, Antonio is in London right now, and for his birthday. So let's give him some early birthday wishes in the chat if y'all watching right now. Who is in here right now? Shout out to Art World. Lisa's here. Candy, Dream, Shantae Out Loud, Zeta. Oh, Zeta, thank you for the super chat too. Zeta says, "I've missed y'all. Glad you're back." Yes, we're trying to make this schedule work. It's really difficult, especially with this time of year. But we're gonna commit to giving y'all the content and giving y'all the reviews. We just got to figure out what works best. So it may not be every week, it may be bi-weekly, but we're gonna make sure we try to finish out the season. So you can count on us for that. For now. All right, so episode 3. So episode 3 um starts out with Angie hearing rumors about the Brow Girl. Now, apparently, the Brow Girl had been texting Jared Osmond, who is Brittany's piece. So, she talks about that. Bronwyn is upset at Lisa about the whole thing of like not having her back. She's talking to her husband. Um, you know, we find out that Mary's great smell comes from her father because apparently he used to smell the bodies that Jeffrey Dahmer to slaughter and cook and stuff like that. And then we find out that Jack is having health issues on his mission, but he wants to be a strong young man and he doesn't want her to come down. So she's struggling with that. So, and we also see that Jared is not answering Brit's FaceTime. So, we see who is this? So Angie and Bronwyn, they have a conversation. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I put a comment that Bronwyn looks like Patty Mayonnaise. It's something in the eyes, but basically
I see it.
you
Oh
see little Patty
wow.
Mayonnaise from
Now
Doug.
that you say that, I do see that. That is
So
so
she was
funny.
getting her makeup done, and she comes in, and she basically tells Bronwyn that she empathizes with her. She's like, girl, you know what? I've been on this side of the other end of the spectrum too. I know what you're going through with Lisa and blah, 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 blah. And, she just kind of talks about that to her. And so, Bronwyn comes back and was just like, well, honestly, Lisa was talking. If you want to talk about people talking ish, what really happened in the car. Lisa was talking about Melly, saying that she was blacklisted from Nordstrom. And I'm like, oh my god. So that tea is out there, and Angie's just like, she's just gagged, like that. She can't wait to use this. We see a scene of Whitney and Heather bonding, like kind of like old times, and Heather is still saying that Bronwyn is two-faced, even though she was clearly not two-faced. I guess Heather is still trying to make something of it. I mean, I don't know if she will drop it, but she just clearly will not. Heather's messy this
Oh
season.
yeah,
It's
she's
this
very
season,
messy.
like she's literally the bone carrier this season, I feel like.
Yes,
Thus
and
far.
trying to do it in a way where it's not like not making her look bad, but it's like, girl, we see
Yeah.
you. We see exactly what you're doing, girl.
Exactly. So they go on two different activities. Bronwyn, Mary, Melly, Whitney, and Brittany go to the Bobblehead Museum in honor of Mary calling Whitney a bobblehead last season. And then
Bobblehead.
the other ladies go to the casino. So at the casino, so nothing really happens at the Bobblehead Museum. They just kind of do a little scavenger hunt. But at the casino, Heather, Angie, Lisa, and Meredith. So and Brittany. No, is it Brittany? Wait,
Brittany went with the other.
she
No,
was
it
a
was
casino, right?
yeah. She went to casino.
So I'm sorry, she went to the casino with them. So at the casino, Jared finally responds back after not answering her FaceTime. And the girl's just telling her, like, girl, you should move on, like, get it over with for him, like, let it go, blah, blah, blah. And so then there is a conversation that happens between Heather and Meredith. And they talk about the whole thing of coming on the trip. So apparently the olive branch was for Whitney asking Meredith to bring some Cartier, but she had said, she replied back, and I guess Whitney thought it was snarky in the way that she said it. So she was like, "This was the olive branch." I didn't really understand this whole thing. I was quite confused. I understood it, but it just didn't make sense to me, right?
Childish.
But in the conversation, Meredith talks about, well, honestly, I didn't think that was an olive branch, but what I will tell you about is that Whitney is, getting her products from Alibaba.
The way she said it.
Heather is gagged, and Meredith basically says that, I would support her, but she's just been so whatever to me. She didn't come. She didn't come to me when she started this business, knowing that I've had this jewelry business for however long. So why should I go to her and tell her? Of course, Heather has the tea, so she's gonna tell her eventually. Any thoughts there before I move on? Because I don't want to keep going too fast.
I just love the way Meredith say Alibaba.
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 So then they go to the game, and we find out that Mary uses tampons, so she don't have to pee. And I'm
yes,
like,
that
okay.
was so chaotic.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, Mary, girl, she is just be talking.
It
Lord,
seemed like it made sense though. I was like, I kind of get it. She put it up there, and
I don't know. I don't have a JJ, so I don't know. But if that worked for her, then hey, we're gonna just say that. What's going on, Chase? What's going on, April? Yes, Mary is Chef's kiss. She is hilarious still. Like, and she's even more. She's better now because she's actively in the whatever's going on.
Yes.
She's engaging. I will say that. So they get to the skybox after doing all the activities and meeting all the different players on the thing, and Angie is just Angie is literally right behind Brittany talking. I mean, she is literally right
behind her,
like just talking about her. Like, did Brittany not hear her? And it's just like
it was a game, so I was like, maybe she really didn't hear her, but she was right behind her.
She was right behind her, telling her the story. So, Brittany. Did Jerry answer the phone? I think she was like.
He didn't at first, and then he ended up answering because Andrew was like, "Oh yeah, there he is now."
And she was like, "Oh hi, yeah," because she was talking mess, and then she was like, "Oh hi, Jared." Right. And so honestly, I put a comment and I said, it's kind of funny Angie's doing this because the same thing happened to her last year. I feel like she didn't like that, and it's just a thing of you talking to other people about things that you found out before going to the source, going to the person. I just wish they would do that, especially her, because she hated it when they all was doing it to her last year when they had the thing up. You know what I'm saying? Like when they had the rumor about her husband possibly having sex with men or whatever, like they went around each other. She was so mad that they didn't come to her. It's like
Right.
you're doing the same thing. Maybe it's a stranger to you, but still, it's like don't do that. So Bronwyn is getting the tea, and she's like, "That is so messy." But girl, let me see the post, girl. Let me see the post. So she shows her the post or whatever, and Brittany just happens to walk into the conversation, and Angie tells her, and Brittany immediately gets emotional, and it's a very like whatever ugly fake cry. And she walks off. She walks off, goes to the bathroom. Meredith supports her. She kind of comforts her in there, and that's just kind of what happens with that. We don't really know what's going to happen from this point, but any thoughts on this?
Like you said, Brittany is a sad, sad woman. To see her act, the reaction was, it was gold for TV, because it was like, girl, you really are like weak. I hate to say it about her, but I'm like, clearly this man don't want you. Obviously he don't want you, and you really are sitting here crying, behind this whole Brow Girl situation, and especially what we know to come, in episode 4. But it's like, girl, you not gonna leave him. So what's the reason why you doing all this? I just feel
I
like she just
mean,
makes herself look so bad.
to me, I just felt like it wasn't even that the stuff was valid or not, what happened, like if there was truth in it. I think it was just the fact of like a realization for her that, okay, there's stuff coming out about this person. Because let me tell you something. When you're with somebody and it just may not be working out, they may not be giving you all the things you want or whatever in terms of like, just the things you would expect out of a relationship or companionship. You know deep down, you know how you feel. Like
Yeah,
somebody that don't want you. You don't want to believe, you don't want to accept it, and you want to try to push through and tell yourself the opposite. But and she knows. She ain't to
he
me.
don't answer her calls. He don't
Right.
want her
Like these are
FaceTimes.
things
Like,
that,
girl,
like they say, child, ain't nobody finna go all day and not talk to you. So I'm just saying that's just an example of we're all been in relationships, stuff like that. So no, she ain't slow. She's not 5 years old. She has kids. Come on, get it together, Brittany. Like, please. Because she's becoming the joke of the group. And
yes, a sad woman.
and I feel like production is making her look even crazy because I feel like they're the ones telling her to get out there and make all these announcements and talk about all these epiphanies. Like it's just crazy. Yeah, I don't know. That's but
Oh
I
my
want better for her.
goodness.
I really do. So to finish off episode 3, Melly confronts Lisa about the Nordstrom blacklisting situation. And Lisa owns it. And she says, it was well, before she owns it, she does say, yeah, because Bronwyn, we always talking about it. But she says it was a snarky comment. And Bronwyn was just like, okay, so when I did it, it wasn't snarky, but for you, it was just shade. So, like, what's the problem? Like, what's up with that? Like, basically, let me get away with it or have my back about me throwing shade if you can get away with it. Because that's what Lisa, she kind of downplayed it as if it was just like nothing. But I
Right.
mean, so she calls it out. Lisa apologizes. And but she also says that she felt like she did defend Bronwyn. I don't know if you agree. I don't really feel like she defended her. I feel like she kind of left her out there
Definitely left
for
her out
more
there.
people to kind of probe because the whole thing was that Heather was trying to say that she was fake. And in a moment like that, when you're talking to a group of people that you just kind of met, you don't really, I mean, everyone's probably like, wait, if you do it to her, you may do it to me. So I don't feel like as the friend that brought Bronwyn into this group, Lisa did a good job of trying to,
I
at least
agree.
Heather told the girls, all right, get off of Brittany. Lisa didn't say that.
Yeah.
Lisa was in the car when the conversation was had. So it was like,
It adds on to the whole Lisa cares about nobody but Lisa Barlow.
yeah, I agree. I very agree. I mean, I agree. Um, so Bronwyn, she confronts Lisa very well. Lisa's kind of stuck, but she also tells Heather, okay, Heather, you need to come correct. And Heather's like, I need to come correct. Yes, bro, you better come correct. I actually look, this is where I was like, okay, because I mean, I started living for Bronwyn I guess when Heather tried to come for her the first time and how she handled it. And we're gonna talk more about it too. But I put down that Bronwyn is innocent because they showed the full clip and literally everything she said in the car with Lisa and Heather, she
Is what
literally
she told to Whitney.
said it to Whitney. verbatim. I mean, it
Yep.
was nothing different. It's like they took the same scene and put it in this scene, from the way she mocked her, from her, like it was the same. So she's vindicated. Heather is pulling for straws, and Lisa owes her an apology.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Yep, I agreed. That was so good to me how they just showed everything and it fell in line. I was like, okay, I see why Bronwyn is kind of like level headed in the way that she approaches them, because it's like, okay, I can own everything that I say and everything that I do, because I mean that's just what it is. It don't seem like she's trying too hard. It doesn't seem like she's like forcing it.
Yeah,
It just comes across very authentic, which is we don't get that a lot in the
that is
housewives
true.
world. So it's very good to watch, especially for a new housewife. And I'm just liking her more and more each episode. I'm really enjoying what she's bringing to the table.
I,
And her confronting Lisa was definitely a good call out moment, because it's like, let's not play the whole hypocrisy game. If you can do it, then as long as you can do it, I mean, as long as I can do it, then it should be no issue. Like,
yeah.
I don't mind y'all doing it, but don't say nothing when I do it too. So I'm with that.
Yeah, I agree. I like Bron when she, of many newbies. I will say, usually we like newbies because they come in, start a mess, and they doing things. I think she's going about it the right way. I
Hmm.
feel like she's going about it in a way that I like her, and it's not anything about her mess. She is literally. I mean, she's had some ways. I'm like, okay, because I felt like the way. Honestly, I feel like her thing with Brittany is a bit like much to me still. Because I just like, okay, it's costume like that was, but it's housewives at the same time, so I don't mind it. But the way that she's handling everybody, including the friend of hers, I like that, and she's not doing it. She's only doing it because they are either not having her back or they're just moving in ways that she doesn't like. So I
Yeah.
think that's like it's perfect. So I like her thus far. We'll see. We haven't gotten a lot of newbies that come and stay lately over the last few years. So
Okay.
because NECA and you know,
Hell, we all like Monica really for the whole season, and then she kind of just messed up at the end.
but we liked her because she was a lot, and I feel like Bronwyn is not like that at all.
Yeah, it's a
She
start. It's
has
a
in
difference.
her. I don't know. I feel like she got a little queen on her side too. I don't know. I feel like somebody
Hmm.
I don't know. She got one of us on her little arm. I
That could be possible.
don't know. When I watch her, I'm like, huh, because she's what 38.
38. Yeah,
Okay, she still look about 50, but no, she don't look
she
50.
does.
She
Not
just
50,
don't.
about 40, 45.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And she also looked like Patty Mayonnaise from Doug. So I mean, two things could be true. That's just me. So we get to episode 4. This is the last night's episode, and Bronwyn is talking about confronting Lisa and Heather, but she wants to move forward. She just says it's a new day, so she hopes that things can get better. Mary educates Whitney on that the straightening comb is for Black people. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. And Meredith is talking to Lisa about about Angie and Whitney coming to her, warning her about Lisa in a previous conversation. So Whitney goes to Lisa shortly after that, and it tells her about the plans for today. Lisa declines it and says she just doesn't want to go. She has other plans. They go into the beer cave, and she's like she doesn't want to go. So they leave. Whitney gets on the bus. She tells the girls, but they find out that Lisa actually goes out with Brittany and Melly.
Hmm. That
So
was so random.
it's funny to me because Lisa is she is such a Regina George. Like it's so
Yes.
crazy because she knows the fact that she chose nobody else to go. She could have pulled Meredith because Meredith would have loved to just been like away from Whitney probably and Angie, but she didn't do that. She didn't chose the two girls that are new to the group. It's very manipulative. And they just probably like, oh my god, we're hanging with Lisa Barlow. Lisa is Lisa is comical. It's really crazy, but yeah, it's really.
The way that she smiled at her hairstylist after Whitney left out of the room, like, did I do that right? Did I do that good? It was so funny. If you go back and watch it, she looked up after Whitney was like, okay. She turned around and left, and she looked at her hairstylist. Go back and watch that part. It was hilarious. Please watch that part.
I'm about to go back and see it, child, and see because I just laughed the fact that she did it. So but we know that she's with Melly and Brittany. Um, so Bronwyn is talking to Angie. This is at the beer cave, like in a side conversation. It basically says that Well, I'm sorry, no, my bad. While they're on the bus, they're trying to figure out why Lisa didn't come. And then Whitney's like, wait. Well, no, first they was like, is it because of Bronwyn? Is it because of Angie? Which one is it because? And they's like, maybe it's both of them. But Whitney asks the question, maybe it's because Meredith may have told no, she asked her, did she tell Lisa about the conversation? And Meredith says yes. And it was like, boom. That's why
That's it. That's exactly what
that
it
was the
was
exact
then.
reason why she didn't go. That's the exact reason why she didn't go. Um, so nothing really happened with, I don't really know the name of the activity that Brittany, Melly, and Lisa were doing. I don't know what is it called.
They said it. I just forgot what it was.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
forgot what
quite
it
catch
was.
that. But we find out that, Brittany is trying to get a backbone and she's ignoring Jared. And they just basically telling her, like, girl, you don't need a man to fulfill your life, to be fulfilled and things like that. I like, hearing, I like how Lisa was just like, you don't need a man. I mean, it's great, but I mean, you don't need him. In other words, like, don't get it twisted. I love my man, but that's what she says. I feel like Lisa would crumble if she lost that damn man.
I
But
agree.
that's just me. I don't know. So in a side conversation, as well, back at the beer cave, Heather and Whitney are talking, and Heather finally tells Whitney about the things that Meredith found out about these stuff from Alibaba. And Whitney says that, well, when it came out, she felt like it was one of her friends. She felt like it was somebody in the group, basically alluding to it being Meredith. And Heather is just like defending her. And it's just like, no, I don't think it was her. Like, I feel like it's basically that it didn't have any malintent on it. But Whitney feels like she shouldn't have even been engaging, and she should have learned her lesson last year when she was, bringing up recordings and documents and DMs and stuff like that. All these things. But Heather says, "Don't bring it up to her on the sprinter van, please." And I'm like, okay. So, they go back home, and on the first sprinter van, they see Melly and Brittany and Lisa, and they're just like having fun. They're like, "Oh my god, we're with Lisa!" They're just so happy, so happy.
Lame.
And that's just that. I'll stop there. Any thoughts on the conversation between Heather and Whitney, and Whitney's whole, because Whitney, I mean, at this moment, Whitney and Meredith are just like blah. So it don't really matter what happens. But of course, Whitney went down the whole path of my business, my business. Oh,
Child, it was so unnecessary because it's like, girl, for one, the business is not even taken off yet, so it's not like a thing to where it's about to ruin your business. Calm down, Whitney. Meredith, I like that Meredith plays this very mellow, behind the scenes kind of devious housewife, because I do think that Meredith do be doing some like shady stuff behind the scenes, and she just
mhm,
kind of like plays it off. So I'm kind of, Meredith's my girl still, but Whitney, I feel like she just wants to be into it with Meredith, like just for the hell of
yeah,
it. I don't think that she really has an issue with Meredith, because she was like, if you were my friend, she would call me. She would, it's like, girl, you and Meredith don't talk like that. And you know that. So why you want Meredith to call you? And you didn't call her and ask her
mhm,
about her business. So what's the issue?
yeah. I agree. I agree. Um, all right. So then they go out for the night. They go into the Harley Davidson Museum. They ask about how was the trip, and Whitney says it was amazing until I found out that you all been talking about my business. Meredith owns it and says no one was talking about it, but I did read about it, and they kind of go back and forth. And Whitney says, like, I feel like you said, if something was wrong, you would have come to me, you know. And then she was just like, well, nothing's wrong with my business. And she's like, is something wrong with your business? I mean, I don't know. And she was like, well, you shouldn't be concerned. And Meredith was like, I'm actually not concerned. So that kind of ends that conversation right there. They go to the museum. Whitney gets emotional and gives them gifts. She gives them some of the Alibaba jewelry, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really see it, but I saw what it looked like for a second. Um, and again, Whitney just basically says, she gets emotional, talks about the gifts, but she didn't want to give it to him after she found out they were talking about her. She just says that, like you said, Meredith could have called her. I'm like, I don't think she would call you. You're like, y'all not on good terms. Like, I think we have to
It
always remember
makes no sense.
it makes no sense. But Lisa jumps in and it's just like, yeah, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't anything, whatever with the whole with the message. And Whitney's just like, talking to Meredith, like Meredith, please don't let people get involved in what we're talking about. Lisa continues to get involved, and it becomes Lisa versus Whitney. That's what I said. All the arguments are becoming Lisa versus Whitney, no matter what. Um, so they're mocking each other, and you know, she called. I put a comment. I was like, "Is Whitney valid in how she feels, or is she a hypocrite?" I'm like, she's a hypocrite because the same thing she is saying to them about they could have come to her, the things that they yelled at her about at that dinner, episode 1, she did not go to them. She
At
went to
all.
everybody else. So it's just like I can't feel bad for Whitney, and I wanna. What she's saying is right, but it's just like sometimes when you have just done so much wrong, baby, no, nothing good's gonna come to you.
Because
And
she finally is getting lashing season 5. Like, they've given
the,
her passes
she's
for
been doing
4
it since
seasons.
season 1, and it's like
Yes.
season 5. Now you're coming at all these women for doing things that you have never done yourself, as in like you have not, like you've never called these people. You didn't call Mary about the rumors. You didn't call everything they talked about at that dinner. Like even the whole thing about the
Everything.
like everything, she just kind of went with it as if it was facts. And so it's just like, sorry, Whitney, I can't feel bad for you. Um, so then she brings up the word she's being steamrolled, and Angie's like, yeah, that's a great word. And Lisa's like, that's the only word you use. Like, is that a new word? Like, what's up with you using
Yeah,
that
I
word?
see that Shaw's thing. Y'all
I
both
see
use
this y'all
that.
thing. And Lisa basically goes down a thing and says that she does not care that Angie is friends with Whitney. Whitney's like, yes, you do. And she's like, no, I'm just upset that you went back telling her things that I told you. And you know what? I kind of forgot for a second why these two are like where they are, but it did start with that because Angie
Yep.
did go back and tell Whitney, everything that Lisa was saying.
Yep.
So between them two, I understand how Angie feels that she's being treated, but the issue came from you running your mouth about things that I told you to the person that I'm either having issues with. Just basically, you shouldn't be going back to that person. So I'm on Lisa's side right here.
Yep.
Um,
Same.
so then they kind of go back and forth about who's been a worse friend to each other. And, that's like I said, Angie's wrong here. But to end the conversation, Lisa's like, yeah, go talk to Electra. And I'm like, wait, who's Electra? And I'm like, oh, wait, that's her daughter. She's like, yeah, go talk to Electra like you always do when you want to get off the phone. And it's like a pin drop. And everybody's just like, oh my God. It was just kind of like weird. And Mary, it's bad when Mary's distraught. Mary was just like, Lord have mercy. That's what she wanted to say. She was like, I think y'all love each other. Like, y'all should just talk. And it was even more silence. I was talking,
Mary gave, she said, wow.
yeah, it was just like, wow. I'm like, if you gagging Mary, baby, it got to be really bad because she don't really, usually Mary will be eating and minding her business or talking to her damn little mannequins or whatever, anything. She was gagged. But any thoughts here?
I thought that the conversation was so intense, but Lisa, in true Lisa Barlow fashion, was just giving her like, girl, everything you saying, I'm gonna have a comeback for. I'm gonna always go against it. Like, Angie really needs to grow a backbone, and this scene proved it that she cannot go toe to toe with Lisa. I remember a few seasons ago, Heather told her on when she was just a friend of. I remember Heather telling her, "You're gonna have a hard time with this group if you can't." I
Yeah.
forgot what it was about, but I remember Heather saying that to her,
It
and
was
it's
it was at
still
was it at the pirate event?
no, it was at the reunion when Angie was a friend of. So season 3, because
I
Angie
think
became an
I
official,
like that.
and Heather was like, if that's the way you're gonna approach situations, you're gonna have a hard time in this
I
group.
remember that. Because I think I agree. Like because what I said was that Heather was basically like she could say the same thing about her. I think Heather was giving her advice that I feel like Heather should have taken as well. But that's just because cause the old Heather when Jen Shaw was around. I mean, Heather was the current Angie.
Angie, yep,
Let's be
uh-huh.
clear, like she was the current Angie. So I was like, girl, but I do remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, that the scene with Angie and Lisa last night kind of proved it because Lisa was just like still unbothered, like about
Very
everything she
unbothered.
was saying. And like you said, in this moment, Lisa is, she's valid in how she feels because at the end of the day, you shouldn't be doing that. You're my friend. But what I did agree with Angie was in her confessional, she was like, Lisa wants you to agree with her and yes man her and this, that, and the
Yeah.
third. And we've said that before about
Well, that's
Lisa.
true. Now I agree with that.
That's very true. So it's like I understood both sides, but Angie's going to have to really give Lisa her ass to kiss if she wants to. I'm not gonna say gain Lisa's respect, but if she wants to really move on from this situation, because the way she's approaching it, Lisa's not gonna respect that, and Lisa's not gonna give her what she wants. So it's like I don't know what to tell you, Angie. It's
The
really kind of
approach,
sad to watch.
I know, I agree. The approach that Angie is coming, like you said, about like basically like you over talk people, want me to kiss your butt, all these things like that. Like, I don't think Lisa is gonna be receptive of that at all. It
At
needs to
all.
be it needs to be more listen, I've been a really good friend to you, and we've been friends for a long time. Let's have respect for each other. Let's do
Yeah.
that. It needs to come from that kind of place. And then that's how you nip it and you cover all ends. Because if you just keep pinpointing things like that, if you get when you give Lisa like one example, she's gonna just say, "Yeah, I didn't do that." She's gonna always have rebuttal. And I just don't think Angie is prepared for anything. I mean, she gagged her with the whole Electra thing, you know. And clearly she said that to hurt her. I don't
Yeah,
know,
for
like she
sure.
said it like go talk to Electra. It's very much so. Ask Ricky Smiley. um, so that's how that happens, and they just kind of, she. I will say somebody mentioned about that little fake little chair throw when the chair fell over.
That shit pissed me off. I was
I
like,
was
Angie, what are
like,
you doing?
hello, Angie, what? You can't
and,
even
and,
push a chair.
and Melly went over there picking up the little jacket, like, let me put your jacket back over
Okay, but
here.
she's like, girl, come on, sit down. All right, so the last scene of this episode, Brittany makes an announcement that they are officially broken up. Everyone is so happy. She talks about an epiphany, and Heather's just like, which epiphany, girl? Like you've mentioned, like which one? It's the same from earlier. Which epiphany is it, child? But Jared apparently doesn't know that they're broken up, so I guess she has made the decision based off not responding to his text messages and things like that. She's broken up with him. That she's done with him. She says that last night was very impactful and insightful. And Mary's like, my bad, can you hear me?
Yeah.
She's like, last night was very impactful and insightful. And she's like, Mary's like, really? Because I mean, I went to bed last night because it seemed like you wasn't listening. So Bronwyn has a question, and she's just like, do you like? Why do you like him? Is it because you like him, or is it because he's an Osmond or whatever? And she's just like, are you in love with him or Osmond? So Brittany's like, baby, you should worry about your husband. And then Brown was like, what about my husband? you know. And so Brittany just starts firing these questions about, is she sexually attracted to him, physically attracted, sexually, whatever. About the age gap. Did she marry him for money? And Bronwyn just basically lays it out and says, listen, we have a connection. We don't have a prenup. I will be taken to the cleaners. That's not going to happen. When I met him, this is how we met. And anybody got any more questions about my husband's dick?
And look at how I ride it.
And how I ride it. And I was just like, and Brittany was just like,
The girls was gagged that she didn't have no prenup. The girl Heather said no prenup, no
They
prenup.
was all of them was gagged. I was gagged too. Like, oh, because he has a lot of money. I mean, he has a lot of money.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so just to close it out, that happened, and then they go to the drag show. Bronwyn is dressed in a costume this time, as Mary says. I will say this is definitely a costume.
For sure.
But Brittany does not say anything about it. Thank God. If I was her, I would have said, "So this is a costume." That's what I would say. That would have made for good TV. But I love how everybody's living for Mary at the drag show. It was like, "Go Mary, go."
Everybody. That was so good to see.
It was. And that's pretty much it. So, any thoughts on the last scene with Brittany, Bronwyn? Bronwyn is a hot dog, and just anything with episode 4, because that was pretty much it.
I'm just happy that it's been such a consistent season so far. I mean, it's every episode has been a good season. I mean, good episode. I feel like it's been even with it being somewhat fillerish, it's still just like it's good TV. I feel like their production team has done a really good job with how they have laid everything out. And it seems like gonna get even better, and we're gonna get more of Lisa and Angie on the next episode with the whole kids thing. So I'm enjoying so far.
I don't get fillerish though. Like I feel like every episode has ended in with a bang. It ended how Housewives should be. Now, given we were this is episode what 4,
Yeah.
and the last 2.5 have been a part of a trip, so that forces them to be together, right? But I feel like it's been pretty good actually. Like,
Yeah, I wasn't saying fillerish like it's been filler. I'm saying like it hasn't been one of those, you know how sometimes every single episode is like just explosive. It's like it's been a consistent like ride. It hasn't been like a, it's been very like chill, but you still getting a lot of housewives.
yeah, I agree. It's been good. When I'm watching, I watched I didn't watch episodes 2 and 3 until Monday when I was flying back, and I was on the plane cracking up. Like I was like ready to review it because it was actually like really entertaining to watch. So but it's been good. Like I'm just always so surprised at how far this has come because we literally started reviewing this like out of the blue when they premiered.
Hmm.
One me and Jamie, and then you and Antonio joined the panel, and it was like a fresh show. Like people weren't really watching it. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but clearly people are watching it because we wouldn't be here if y'all weren't. We're watching it. I think you watched that. Was it Mormon Wives, the other show?
Yes,
I
Mormon
didn't watch
Wives.
it. I hear it's really good, which is crazy because
They
clearly
just got renewed
that show had to have come from this. So
for
Salt Lake
sure.
City, Real House of Salt Lake City is clearly paving the way. They're doing things that I guess people in Salt Lake City probably would never thought they'd be doing on TV, talking about tampons and men and Osmond. So I'm happy for them, and I really can't just. I'm ready to see how long it goes. I really wanted to go long enough to when Jen Shaw get out, she can rejoin.
Low key, so I agree. And
So
I think that they will.
they just announced that she's getting out in 2026 now. So that's what that would be. What season?
No, 2027. It
Uh,
went down from 2028 to 2027. Yeah, I thought that's what the text said.
oh, well, she's
Let
getting
me
out
see.
sooner. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, in that case, I don't know if they're gonna make it that long, honey. I don't know. But I would love for it to be going on long enough for them to come back. But I guess what I thought about today is at what point are the OGs gonna start falling off? Because
Mm,
all these women, minus a few, are OGs. Right now, I think they're the only franchise. Obviously, they're obviously like newer too. They have all their OGs outside of like Dubai and the New York people, but they've been going for
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah. Season 5, because technically Jen Sharp would have more than likely still been there had she not went to jail.
Yeah, she won't go nowhere, child. Nowhere. Okay, well, we got a caller in the queue. April, I see you said I'm cooking dinner, then I'll call in. Girl, I hope that dinner gonna be done in 7 minutes because by 7 minutes we gonna be gone off the air. So if you calling in, better call on in now. Put that little spatula on down and make sure it don't burn down the house and come on call in. But we're gonna let our first caller on, and it's going to be Lisa. Hey Lisa, how are you?
Hey,
Yeah,
Lisa.
fine. Said I
How are you?
trained King Charles. I said, hello, what's up in London?
With you Antonio. Yeah, he's in London, child. He over there stunning us. Probably got some stun glasses on or something. I don't know.
London.
Dead.
And some labels. You know how the Antonio be. But how are you? What you got for us tonight?
Let me say something. I don't know. I don't know why. I have to spend. Y'all know I really don't want like Mary. I don't because I'm still about that grandpa situation.
Mhm.
Being figured out because I want to know the she and the grandpa have something to do with the grandmama death. I want to know about that. I don't know. Why y'all so scared? These women so scared. Man, when Mary say something, I said, you murdered your grandma.
You think
Bring
she murdered him? You think she murdered
it.
her grandma?
Yeah, that was baby. That was the great uncle had said on Cheryl World.
Lord.
I don't know why nobody want to bring this stuff up.
Well, you talked about it
Allegedly.
last season. You did mention it, but I'm not going that far back about that, child. What you got to talk about tonight?
Like, with Mary up her mouth, baby, no, baby. We ain't going, baby. You ain't finna get out. What is the grandpa at? What grandpa? What grandpa at? We
I
don't
don't
see
know.
grandpa. You want to know what grandpa is? What about the church? And see, you see, y'all, you gonna come after me? Brittany, baby, they got the wrong one, man. If I was Brittany, I said, girl, you make your grumble. But I would bring all that up. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I'm so much with Mary, I would not tell Whitney nothing. You told me I wasn't on your friends like that. I'm gonna tell Heather. Heather can tell you what was the situation with your Jew. Cause me and you ain't like that. And I don't care what nobody else. I believe Monica started all that stuff last. Cause it was between Monica and Mary. Cause Mary said Monica told her about the text message and everything. So I really do. I believe they had the guy that messed up. I'm sorry last year. But no. And I'm like this. You do need to get a backbone. And you need to get back on. Don't you remember they was on the boat? Uh, Jen got she throw Angie shoes in the ocean.
Oh yes, yes, last the one with just
So
shot. I know you're talking about. Yeah,
you would throw my designer shoes in the ocean, girl. Me, you be fighting on them. And you don't say nothing about maybe. I'm
I actually forgot that happened.
I
I'm for
forgot.
them.
I be forgetting that was 2 years ago though,
Yeah,
right?
I
Because
know.
That was 2 seasons
it
ago.
was when Jen Shaw was there. That's crazy how time's flying.
Hmm.
Season 3.
I'm like she need to have a backbone. And I don't want him. You want him telling folks stuff about him that you supposed to be my friend, but you want him telling no, baby, And I don't
I
care no.
agree.
I like Brittany. I don't know. I like Brittany. It's something about Baldwin though. It's something about Baldwin I just don't like. It's
You don't
something
like?
about
Dang.
Baldwin. I think she's sneaky. She's so sneaky.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm for real though. Mom said saying they was in the car talking. She did tell Whitney, but what you did not do though, you didn't have that same attitude though. I think that's the problem.
Mm. Your audio was going out for a little bit. I can I hear you, but you going back and forth, Lisa.
I really do believe it's something. It's just something about the other one. I believe she is sneaky. I believe she's sneaky. And I don't nobody care about you right now, old man Pim.
Uh oh.
Okay? Okay? Okay, we don't have some a lot, baby. Karen got an old penis. Okay, we got that. Okay, we got an old penis. And you know, you married that man for his money. Come on now. Come on now. You married that man for his money, okay? You had that much money. You take for that little girl. You had that much money. Come on now. You
I'm
lying
weak.
somewhere. When you in your costume dressed like a hot dog. Stop that.
You don't like hot dogs? I don't like hot dogs either. So let me hush up, Chad.
On the meal and the food, okay?
I'm,
I'm just saying, from my point of view, it's something about Barbara. Now, Brittany needs to get a backbone too. Brittany, come on, baby. I like you, but you need to get a backbone. You need to let dude go. And stop making these
Facts.
damn like you, whatever you gonna do. Stop making all these damn announcements. Don't nobody care, baby. And the girls ain't doing but laughing at you. They laughing at you, okay? Come on now. That's all they got.
okay. Well, Lisa, we're gonna be here Monday, of course, for Potomac. So we'll see you then. Okay. Thank you for calling in tonight. Okay.
I will see
Bye,
y'all Monday.
Lisa.
Have a good weekend, okay?
You too. Have a good
You
week.
too.
Good night, Lisa. I guess April said that her food was more important. Which, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I would say the same thing because I'm about to find me some food too.
Listen, I'm about to eat me some kava.
Ooh, we ain't got no Cabo over here. That's well, we have one, but it's not close. It's like 25 minutes from me. I'm not going to Cabo,
Oof. I
but I
wouldn't be
might do
driving there
Chipotle
either.
though. You know,
I tried to have Chipotle yesterday. I ended up throwing the whole bowl away. It was so bad.
you just said that. Didn't you say that she did you right?
She did me right by packing the bowl out, and now I feel like she packed it out because she knew that they overcooked that chicken. They overcooked the fajitas. They overcooked. I feel like everything was overcooked. I threw the whole bowl away. I
You need
couldn't
to
even
let
eat it.
everybody on social media know that she actually did do a good job because you had me thinking that you had got a good Chipotle person. Because the one I go to, showing you like even no goddamn less.
She gave me an abundance of everything, and it was all bad.
Oh well, listen, just go to
So
somebody else next time. If she at work, don't get there. All right, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. We will be here next Thursday of Salt Lake City. My birthday is actually in 2 weeks, so I know I'll be gone. So we'll have to figure out what's gonna happen for those shows while I'm gone. I think Potomac may be okay, but based on availability, this Salt Lake City show may not happen. But that's in 2 weeks, so just stay tuned to the channel. I try to update it as soon as I get confirmation about things. It may be last minute, but either we'll be here or we won't. But just stay subscribed and like, and then we'll let you guys know as soon as we know. So thank you, Art World. Thank you, Football Cat. Thank you, Lisa, for calling in. Thank you, April, Miss Main Tips. Who else we had up in here? Dream was up in here. Antonio, happy birthday. Happy early birthday, Antonio.
Happy early birthday.
Jason was in here. Alicia, Garcia. Shout out to everybody that's watching us, still rocking with us. Like, we're still going to be here. Nothing's changing. We're just kind of shifting a little bit and kind of slowing things down. Because as y'all know, last year in the fall up into the spring, it was crazy. It was just so crazy. We had so many shows.
There was so many shows.
We had a literal schedule, that was in Google Docs that I created so that we could. It was a lot. So we just, making sure that we focus on shows that we actually want to review. I know somebody asked about House of Villains. I'm gonna tell you right now, we will not be reviewing that. Just because I don't even have. I'm gonna maybe watch it, the clips, but I don't have the interest to watch it. So unless someone comes to me and says they want to review it and take over that panel, we will not be doing it, and I'm pretty sure that's not gonna happen. So, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Chad, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay, y'all have a good night.
Peace.